Today's episode of the BS Podcast is brought to you by SeatGeek, our presenting sponsor, the only fan-friendly app for buying and selling sports and music tickets. And they just had some major news. They cut a huge deal with Major League Soccer to help improve sports ticketing from the ground up. They are building a new ticketing system for teams that will be way more fan-friendly than the sites you've been stuck with for years. Drop your old site, experience buying and selling tickets the way it should be. Start using SeatGeek. Download their free SeatGeek app or go to SeatGeek.com. Also, today's episode is brought to you by Stamps.com. Stop relying on the post office. Just buy and print official U.S. postage using your own computer and printer. Sign up for Stamps.com right now. Use the promo code BS for a 4-week trial plus a $110 bonus offer that includes postage and a digital scale. Stamps.com. Click on the micro on top of the homepage. Type in BS. One of our first sponsors. Thanks, Stamps.com. TheRinger.com is another one that we are brought to you by the Ringer Podcast Network and my new HBO show, Any Given Wednesday. New episodes every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. 2 more in August. Then we go on a little break. You can watch the first 6 episodes and every bonus clip on HBO Now, HBO Go, and HBO On Demand. We did a great interview with Caitlyn Jenner this week that we had so much good stuff we didn't even know what to do. We cut 15 minutes of it for the show. And I think we have like another 16 to 18 minutes of extra content that we're putting on HBO Now and HBO On Demand. It's excellent. If you liked what you saw on the TV show, I would encourage you to watch this. What a great guest. What a great storyteller, too. Finally, we're selling merchandise for The Ringer, and we're helping raise money for our friends at charitywater.org. The link is right on our website. It says merch, because we needed the space for the other links, but it's merch. You can buy hoodies, t-shirts, sweatshirts, you name it. Shout out to Scott Harrison. All right, it's time. Johnny Bananas, let's do it.
Yeah. Clear enough for you.
Wow. So on my HBO show this week, I interviewed 1976's greatest athlete, Caitlyn Jenner, and now 2016's greatest athlete. I've been saying you were the world's greatest athletes for years. You did it again.
You're
Johnny
ahead
Bananas.
of your time, my friend. Bill,
What is this, like 6 titles?
It is. If there's one thing that you could be credited with, it's about being ahead of the curve, bro. You just know. You're like a fortune teller, man. If this ever doesn't, if this gig doesn't work out for you, man, you can make a living telling fortunes, man.
Could you bet on the challenge? Could I have gone to Vegas and bet on this?
You maybe, but the problem is there's spoilers out. I mean, there's spoilers that leak while we're still on location.
Yeah, you have too many crew.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I remember the night that this ended, the challenge ended. I remember going back to my hotel, and the 3 final teams and the winners were already on Vevmo, or one of those crazy gossip sites. So
Really?
There's a mole buried deep inside. But you want to know what was not released was what went down at the end. That was the one thing that it got out late in the game, but that was a pretty well kept secret. So
to recap, challenge, you get partners, then there's some wrinkle at the end. And the final challenge, we're keeping track of the checkpoints, and whoever's ahead, they can just keep all the money.
Yeah.
So $275,000 at stake.
Yeah.
You have Sarah. You have a history with Sarah. Sarah stabbed you in the back. It was one of the only times Bananas didn't see it coming.
I did not see it coming, man.
Stabs you in the back. Your friend.
Yeah.
It's the one of the few times I've disagreed with you in challenge history. You took it really personally.
I did.
Deep down, you knew it was the right move and a perfect move, and you respected the hell out of it.
I did after the fact. In the moment,
You just hurt.
In the moment, you know what it was, is because the cardinal rule in the challenge, and in I think in game shows in general, is to not let your personal feelings and reality mix with the game that you're playing.
And yet that's why Survivor and the Challenge are the best, because it always ends up interfering.
It's so hard, and it's like I almost needed to practice what I preach, because I've told that to so many people. Like, it's just a game, you know what I mean? And you're here to win, and you're here to make money. So when it happened to me, and it really did feel like a personal stab back then.
You got a little whiny.
I did, and you know what? And it took me a while. It took me a while to to come to terms with it. But in my defense, the way that I saw it was there are people that I do the show with, like. And Sarah's one of the few girls that I've actually had an ongoing alliance with. But like with Kenny and Evan and Leroy and Mark, I mean, going back to when I used to, work with Derek, there's certain people that when you're friends outside of the show, when your friendship transcends the show and you're actually friends on the outside of the show, what happens on the show tends to spill into your real life. And I really did consider Sarah before Exes a really close friend of mine. Now, we didn't talk all the time, and I didn't call her on her birthday, but out of all the girls on the show, she's someone that I considered. I hung out with her outside of the show, which is very rare for me. So when that happened, and I didn't see it coming, it was a total blindside. Had I known that she was plotting against me from the beginning of the show, had I had any inkling that was happening, I could have, like, if a CT or a Wes screws me over,
you always
more
know.
power to you, man, because I knew it was coming. I know which side you're on, you know which side I'm on. It's never a surprise. With her, and with what she had preached for so many years about how she played the game, and she plays it straight up, and for that to happen with her the way that it did, it was a slap in the face. But like you said, I mean, I had to take my own medicine. I had to take my own medicine, and I'm like, you know what? This is where we're at now, and this is and she rewrote the rules of the game.
Now you were still bitter about it when you partnered up again with her this season.
Yeah.
You were still mad about it.
We hadn't spoken 2 years. So, I mean, the way that I feel about
you
stuff
literally hadn't spoken in 2 years?
Had not spoken a word in 2 years.
What would happen if you saw her at, like, weird MTV events?
We didn't. I mean, I didn't. Here's the thing is, after Exes, she was like, I'm done. I'm getting married. I'm having babies. I'm getting a real job, which I thought was kind of like a backhanded, slap at a lot of people who were still doing the show.
Yeah, that does feel a little snotty.
I'm moving on with my life. I'm going to get real. And
did she have kids?
No.
Oh, but she did get married.
She got married, and then she ends up coming back. I knew what the format was before we came on the show, but I had figured since she made this grand, exit, and she's like, I'm done doing challenges, that there's no way she was going to be my partner. I found out the day before we left for Mexico that she was going to be my partner, and I was pretty sick about it, dude. I mean, it really was. I think what really kind of boggled my mind the most was, I had said this in the past, if she's ever back on another challenge, I'm like, all bets are off. She's going to be the first one that I'm setting my gun sights on. Then when I find out, well, we're going to be partners, now not only am I not going to be able to touch her, but then there's a possibility that I'm going to win her money at the end.
Yeah.
It just didn't sit right with me. But,
But then you're going along, then you find out about the wrinkle. And I was watching with my wife. I'm like, oh, he's this. I know Bananas. I've been with Bananas for 10 years of challenges. He's not splitting the money with her. He's going to blindside her. And then you wouldn't talk about it. You're doing the challenge with her. And she's like, hey, what are we going to do? What are we going to do?
Deflect,
You
man.
deflect. She had to have known it was coming at some point.
Here's the deal. Just to backtrack a little bit, when we first came on to the challenge, obviously there was like this. I think about the show a lot of times from a production standpoint as well.
Yeah.
I really didn't have that much animosity still. I really didn't. I had kind of gotten over a lot of it. I'm like, you know what? Whatever. We're here. We're going to compete. We're going to do well. But for the sake of the show, I'm like, how great would this story arc be if we start off as mortal enemies? We can't even get our shit together. I'm dropping her off apparatuses. Halfway through the show, we start working well together. We kind of have this coming to Jesus moment. And then we just murder the show and ride off into the sunset. And that is pretty much exactly how it went.
And then you found out about the wrinkle and you're like, oh.
Which is something that we didn't know about. Everyone's like, oh, you didn't mean anything you said to her throughout the show. And it's like, well, I didn't know about this wrinkle. I didn't know about this curveball. This is something that they dropped on us at the last minute, which, might I say, I've done a lot of reality television, is the most diabolical plot twist I've ever seen. Ever on a challenge or any other show.
And also a really smart challenge, because the irony of the challenge is that the final episode is usually the worst episode of the challenge, because you kind of know who's going to win and there's no drama. And then
everybody knew. I mean, everybody knew who was going to win. The out of us teams, they knew we were going to take first, but nobody knew who was going to come out with most points, and nobody knew what the respective person was going to do.
Smart.
So when we came into it, when we got to the final, and when he dropped this bomb on us. At first, I mean, and you see it, it's so funny. The other two teams, when they find out, they're kind of like, oh, wow, that's crazy. And both me and Sarah are both staring at the ground. And I think the reason why is because the same thing was going through both of our heads, which was, I'm going to take the money from this person. You know what I mean?
So you think Sarah would have done it too?
1,000%.
I think
Sarah
she
would have taken the money.
I agree.
And it's so easy for her fans and for her to say, no, I wouldn't have. But you have already. You've done it in the past. We already have a fractured relationship. People want to make it out like, oh, but you guys became such good friends. That was television. And what you see on TV and these relationships that develop, 9 times out of 10 don't transfer through into real life. So Yeah, we.
I would say 59 times out of 60.
There you go.
I would
99 times out of 100.
Yeah, it's somewhere between 59 out of 60 and 99 out of 100.
I agree, man. And so that
I wasn't shocked that Nani's cousin and that little tiny dude didn't make it at the arena. I was like, oh my God, they didn't make it. I can't believe it.
How's that possible?
I thought they were going to get married.
These kids, man, they really set the bar high, you know. That was doomed from the beginning.
It was doomed from the casting.
You can't listen for girls. If general rule of thumb, if a dude's more emotional than you are and cries more than you, it's probably not going to work.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So going back to this twist, it was I knew, she knew, and I think this was the analogy that I used. Usually, if someone's really if you're in a relationship and someone's real suspicious of what you're doing, who are you with, what are you doing, blowing you up all the time.
Bad sign.
59 times out of 60, that means that they're doing some shady shit.
Oh,
and
I like what you're thinking.
No, and they feel insecure about what they're doing, so it makes them. In the past, I mean, whatever. I'm a dude. I've been in, I've done some shady shit in the past. When I was the most suspicious of exes that I've been with, was when I was kind of being a creep on the side,
Right.
Because if you automatically put, you start suspecting them of stuff, So when Sarah then in the final kept on asking me about what are we going to do? Are we going to split it? We both have 1 point. We're tied. And the more she did that, the more it solidified this thought in my head that this girl's going to screw me. And I got to do everything I can to make sure that does not happen.
And she made the fatal mistake of letting you do the overnight stand on the thing.
Never.
Couldn't you have split that? Couldn't you have split a half
There was
point?
no splitting. What it was, because we didn't know what the time was.
Yeah.
We had no concept of time. I was like, I will stand on this motherfucker for 2 days if I have to, And it was kind of like one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, Sarah, you're not feeling well. You should probably go rest.
Yeah.
I'll do the tough thing. I'll stand up. You get your rest for tomorrow. Knowing that these 2 points were going to be huge. Because going into that night, I had no idea where we stood point-wise, So, I mean,
So then you get there, you win.
Yeah.
Everybody, the other two teams split the money.
Which I think made my decision look even more, just earth-shattering was the fact that I was the only one that did it.
You take all the money. She gets $0. They even put the graphic up. Sarah, $0.
That just goes to show what MTV thinks about our viewing audience, where it's like, all right, you guys can't grasp this concept, so we're gonna draw a picture for you.
Well, for my son, it was helpful.
It helped him, right? He got it.
What was TJ's reaction? That was really all I cared about more than anything. We know that TJ hates quitters. Does he hate taking all the money? What was his feeling?
Listen, man. There have been a lot of lonely times in my life, okay? On challenges too. I mean, that's one of the things that happens to you on the challenges. If you get put, I like to call it, you get put on an island. If you make a bad move where the entire house will turn on you like that. Not just cast members, not just TJ, but all 50 people on production. I mean, after I said what I said, it was
disgusted by you?
I wouldn't say disgusted, but I think they were all absolutely dumbfounded. It's like one of those
really like
moments where it was like, we knew he was capable of this, all right, but we didn't think he would ever do it. It was like one of those things where, have you ever seen the movies where it's like everything's silent and like the guy sitting there, like a pen falls out of his mouth? Like it was like one of those. Like one of the head producers even said after, they know they usually know just based on the interviews and the story notes, every twist and turn that's coming. I mean, they know, they could plan for it. They had no idea. He even told me after, he goes, you know what? We thought you might, but this is one of the first times that we had absolutely no idea which way you were going, which made it that much better. It's like if even production doesn't know, my cousin didn't know, nobody knew.
I was going to ask, your cousin didn't know?
No, I didn't tell anybody because I didn't want it to somehow get back to her. We didn't know until we got to TJ who had the most points. So the last thing that I wanted was for her to know that I had this, which way I was leaning, and that's probably what I was going to do, because then if she found out and then there's some plot twist because in all honesty, it would have made it just as great a television if she would have won and screwed me over. It really would have.
I think you should have whispered to her before it came to you, like, we're fine, don't worry, and then done it.
All right, so that's did you see what Devin did? How Devin kind of like okey-doked Cheyenne?
Yeah.
Got her kind of leaning one way and was like, but we're going to split it. Sarah told me right before, she goes, all right, Bananas, listen, if you want, she goes, go up there and make a speech and kind of like convince people that you're actually gonna take the money, and we'll like fool them. I was like, all right, Sarah.
Great idea.
A great idea. But I'm going to take this one step further, and I'm actually going to do it. So
So you did it.
Yeah.
Dead silence.
Dead silence.
Is TJ like... Is
alone
it like
on a mountain. I was just a banana
is TJ
alone
like
on a mountain.
Disapproving dad look? What's
That
the
was
look
the look
on his
I got.
face?
That was the. It was a very, very, very disappointed look in his eye.
Really?
But I don't know if that was. Thing is, TJ's very difficult to read. He's very stoic most of the time. You never know what's going on in that guy's head.
Well, you know what? You know, one time, if somebody quits,
Oh, if someone quits.
that's
Absolutely.
it. That's like his. That's his red hot button
Yeah,
right there.
for sure. I
He
mean,
hates
TJ hates quitters. But
Really hates quitters.
I didn't know. I mean, I couldn't tell. I don't. I think if anyone though could have understood the scenario, it would have been him. You know what I mean? Because I really do feel like with what happened on X's, and I know everyone gives me shit like, oh, you shouldn't have been upset. You know, it's a game, blah blah. It's just really difficult when you compete for that long, and when you put that much, you know, sweat, toil, and tears into something, to have it, you know, taken away. And everyone, here's the distinction people make. They're like, the difference is, you and Sarah weren't partners then, right? And she just sent you into elimination. She didn't send you home. Well, we might not have been on the same team as partners, but we were in an alliance the entire time. And that, to me, we're partners. If I'm in an alliance with you, you're my ride or die. We're going to the end. And I will throw myself in for you if I have to. And I'll do whatever it takes to help you out in the game. And then the whole thing about she sent me in. Yeah, she did send me. Did she want me to come back? No, that was the whole point in her sending me in. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to send you in. I hope you come back. It
Yeah.
was like, no, I'm going to send you in and I hope you go home. And that's what ended up happening. And it cost me, you know, it cost me a lot. And
I like when there's only 8 people left and somebody sends somebody in, and the person gets mad when it's like any other choice. That person also would have been mad. It's like I guess send somebody in.
you got to, yeah. There's no way to play. Everyone's like, you play such a dirty game. Well, there's no clean way to play this game. Unless you're as lucky as Devin and Cheyenne that just go through an entire season pulling white skulls and never have to make a tough decision.
It was worse than that. Didn't they? They left the show and came back. How did they end up coming back? Like if this happened in the NFL, people would be writing about this for months.
I don't know.
They're just in the playoffs. Wait, you lost. You didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that they thought that what was going to... The odds of what they did, pulling white skulls the entire time,
Yeah.
never having to see another elimination.
I didn't like the white skulls.
I wasn't a big fan either. It leaves
come
too
up
much,
with a better something.
It leaves too much, you know, luck in the game. And that was the one thing about this challenge that's been so much different than other ones is the amount of puzzles and the luck factor in this game. It was more than they've had in a lot of recent challenges. There wasn't a whole lot of physicality in it, you know?
Yeah, if you're gonna do the skulls, like come up with a more fun way that has a little bit more than just somebody reaching in a thing, cut to commercial.
Yeah.
I think the one thing with the challenge that I wish I could go back to a little bit, if you go back to those early seasons, some of which were on YouTube,
Like Headbanger, like Man in the Sand.
just stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like don't be afraid every once in a while to not make it the most grueling physical
Well, they
challenge
do that
of all
though.
time.
I mean, look at this one. We had trivia. Every season's a total toss-up.
yeah. No, but I'm saying really stupid,
Like puts paint on your ass and smear on a canvas or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they did that. What was the one with the wiping the ice down?
Yeah, where they had to try and
To rub
melt
your,
the block of ice.
your butt on the ice and melt it down.
When the strategy behind that was just to burrow one hole to the key and not try and melt the entire block of ice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell. It's always hard to tell with the editing, but one of the competitors seemed to really enjoy the block of ice.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell if they cut that.
Who is it, Mark?
No, the girl from the bathroom. What's that girl's name?
The girl from the bathroom.
No, the one this season.
Oh, this season, Ashley.
Yeah, Ashley.
No, we were on the soap.
Ashley.
On the soap.
The soap. I screwed up.
Soap.
Yeah, soap.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Quick break to talk about 5-4 Club, where you can get hooked up with new clothes for just $60 a month. Bananas hooked me up with a tank top with a banana with a red line through it for $0.
It's the no bananas. Yeah,
The
for
no
$0.
bananas, which is fantastic.
It's a way
5-4
better
Club
deal.
is $60 a month. 5-4 Club has you covered. They'll provide styling advice and recommendations. They'll make you a styling profile. They'll deliver clothes to your door every month or so. 4 style profiles: classic, casual, forward mix, shorts and button-ups, shorts and button-ups when you need them, jackets and jeans when it gets colder. Free shipping, direct delivery to your doorstep. close come every month or so. It's only $60 a month. Go to 54club.com. Use promo code BS at sign up. Get 50% off your first package. FIVEFOUR club.com. You need a bananas club.
Yeah.
All right, back to the challenge.
Yeah.
This was the sixth one.
Yeah.
It was certainly the dirtiest one.
Dirty. They get dirtier as time goes on, man. I guess it's because they're just so much more difficult, man. I mean, this sixth one was elusive.
Well, hold on. I want to get to all this.
Yeah.
Here's my conspiracy theory.
Okay.
I'm not saying I believe this, but I think you could present the case. MTV knows you're probably going to win, especially with all the people they put in this one. I mean, I would compare this challenge to Jordan won 6 titles, you won 6 titles. This was like when Jordan beat the 98 Jazz.
Yeah.
It counts as a title. I don't think you had to go through the same type of competition. You were 7 steps ahead of everybody the whole time. I never felt like anyone else was going to win.
I've also got a few more miles on these wheels, though, too, man. So maybe it all balances out.
So did Jordan.
Okay.
You did it with your smarts and guile and the physicality when you needed it. Why wouldn't I think that MTV said, "Hey, do this as the ending, and we'll cover Sarah's side"? That's a good question, right?
That is a good question, but because
it's a whole conspiracy. You said yourself it's TV
because you don't know how because you just don't know how MTV works, and they would never do something like that
because they're cheap.
It's not because they're cheap. It's because you know what that would do is that would any future possible rivalry or whatever that they want to keep going. They want there to be a visceral.
So they were happy you did this.
Come on.
I thought you were going to retire, though.
Here's the deal, dude. Well, who knows? We'll see. There's still... We'll see, man.
This is like Jordan. This is what Jordan said after 98. I don't know. I might not come back.
I might not. I mean, the way that I see it is it's like I don't want to... I feel like I still got a lot left in the tank, right? But I also don't want to be the guy that's like,
You don't want to be that guy.
That athlete that's hanging around for like too long, and it's like, all right, this guy should have retired a few years ago. And you know what? If I wasn't still... doing as well as I was, had I just eked through this one, but it's like they're yet to bring someone on that I've actually, that's really gonna, withstand the test of time.
I think if we're using the Jordan analogy, West to me is like a Charles Barkley. Like he had the potential to battle you for the whole decade.
He used to,
and he couldn't keep it up.
So I think West was more like a Derrick Rose. Like he started out like he was hot, started out on fire, was MVP, and then as fast as he went up, he just disappeared.
Too much too soon,
man. Like Bo Jackson. I mean, this guy comes out and it's like, dude, this guy's amazing. You do everything, and then all of a sudden it's like. He just disappears. It's kind of like what happened with he
lost his edge.
He lost his pecs.
Lost his
body. The kid's deflated. He's a bone rack now. I mean, he used to come on. He was.
That is true. He had a couple of challenges where he was very, very large.
It was, and it's like how does that? What happened there, man? I mean, the kid just gave up on life.
Are you still feuding with him? Kinda.
The thing with
Seems
Wes,
like you kind of weirdly like him now.
Here's the deal with Wes. Me and Wes have never disliked each other off the show. All right.
Yeah.
It's more like a sibling rivalry where it's like we're just cut from different cloth. You know what I mean? And when we're on the show, we always have 2 different strategies. The difference is I tailor mine to whatever the season is. He comes in with the exact same strategy every season. It just never works.
And his transparent plan of alliances.
It's like, here's my plan. I'm going to come in and wrangle up every rookie I possibly can, even though they're not going to help me.
Yeah.
That works in a voting game. When it's a numbers game and all that matters
Survivor.
is votes.
Yeah.
Or like like free agents, for example, or when it's like a popularity contest, how many votes can I get? But when it's a power couple situation where a team has to win to be in power, it's like you could have all the votes in the house, but if these teams aren't winning, then it's meaningless, basically.
West needs a new game plan. I think wrangling all the happy to be there people and all the girls who don't realize that maybe it's a bad idea to get drunk 4 times a week and then go on the challenge the next day. It's like
I've always called it. It's just Wes and his band of midget misfits, man, and it's just never panned out very well for him.
So Wes is like Barkley.
Yep.
Who is I guess CT is Shaq, like just the unstoppable force that you just kind of hope you don't run into in a playoff series.
Pretty much. Hack a Shaq. It's like, you know what? He's got one. Thing is with CT is it's like, I mean, the guys, I've never seen anyone on a challenge that has the ability to, people call me manipulative. That guy I mean, he's a whole another breed of manipulative. Like he reminds me like on the movie Snatch. You know the Pikeys?
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, before you know what you just did, you just sold, your house and your family and everyone, the clothes off your back. He has the ability to just do that. And you have no idea. You're like, wait a minute, how did I? The guy comes in one season with, he manages to. We have Under Armour clothes, right? Swag bags. We each get a bag, right? And then what people will do is they don't like stuff, they'll trade it. This guy 2 days later has 3 duffel bags that he's somehow managed to like wheel and deal and get clothes. It's like and that transfers through to the game. And
that's a Boston thing.
It is. And he's got that Boston mumble.
Boston
So you can never really
dealer.
tell what he's saying.
Yeah.
It's not good. He's like, what did I just agree to? But yeah, as far as just an overall
CT,
physical force and just as far as his strategy is concerned, it's that guy just.
So he's been the scariest.
You know why he is? It's because with him, it's like the guy doesn't really have any weaknesses. If anything's his weakness, he's his own worst enemy. And sometimes his strategy is a little bit flawed.
I was gonna say his weakness maybe is an anger problem that gets him kicked off the show every once in a while. I would count that.
But
as
you
a
know
weakness.
what? He's put a lot of that behind him, man. He's a different dude now. CT is actually mellowed out a lot. I think, which is one of the reasons why me and him are a lot closer than we used to be. And it was almost like I've said this before. It was almost like United States and Russia for the longest time. It was like kind of like a mutual assured destruction type thing.
So who's Leroy? Leroy has all the tools, and it just every challenge something bad happens.
Leroy's the best, man. I love that. I mean, there are a few.
You never would have taken the 275
never
from Leroy.
in a million years.
You would have.
He probably would have taken it from me.
No,
and I'm okay with
Leroy
that.
wouldn't have done
I'm
that.
okay with that.
No way.
I'm okay with that.
The only two that you totally trust are Leroy and Vince, I would say.
Leroy and Vince, absolutely. Yeah, and obviously if Kenny and Evan were still around, but those are the only two that I see nowadays that are really like my ride or dies on this show.
And Vince is like basically Scottie Pippen. You've cloned him. He plays the game like you. Yeah. He's like the younger version of you.
Yeah.
You just ride him. You can take quarters off. Let him carry the offense.
Yeah, basically. I mean, that's what I love about the guy. Here's another thing about my cousin. He just hasn't gotten a fair enough shake. I mean, the kid is a phenomenal, grade A athlete. He got a full ride to Penn State football scholarship. Won state championship in Ohio at a really good school there in high school. Got a full ride. Joe Paterno came to his house, talked to my uncle about having him go there. This kid is an athlete, but it's very difficult sometimes to try and transfer football athleticism to what they make us do on the challenge, because it's just a completely different.
Yeah, when you're eating cow tongue, it's not really the same.
It's not. It's no matter how many, no matter how fast your 40 time is, that's not going to make you, eat a cow tongue any faster, right?
So Vince, very impressive silver medal for him.
I agree, man.
What's that? The second challenge?
Second challenge, silver medal, and people want to give me all the he rode your coattails, man. If I wouldn't have been there, he's still would have done well. I don't care what anybody says about him. There's not one guy in that house that would want to see him in an elimination round.
I was going to say,
I wouldn't want to see him. When we were drawing white corks that last time, we were in Argentina.
Yeah.
And it was like, anyone go in? My heart's never sank more in my chest my entire life than when I thought that Jenna might pull that black cork and we were going to be going in against each other. I was sick, man. I was sick.
I didn't Vince probably was the second best dude in the house.
1,000%.
Again, the competition's down.
Way down.
They need a new batch.
I know.
Too many crying dudes.
I've never
Can we get some dudes who just get in fights again?
I've never seen, and they didn't really show this much as they should have. First week we were there, I think there was 3 or 4 teams that wanted to quit. That all were like, we're done, we're going home. I'm like, you're a week in. This is the easiest part of the challenge.
Yeah.
What did you guys think this? Because Are You the One's just, it's a different show. You're there, you date, the challenges are just,
Can we talk about this, please?
Yeah, absolutely. It's your show, man.
No, the Are You the One thing. I don't understand it. We've had 75 real world seasons at this point. We have all the old road rules. We have the senior tour guys like Mark Long.
Yeah.
Who wants these Are You the One things? It really bothers me.
I think what it is a lot of the real world people have either moved on or started families or whatever. We can all
raise the prize money then.
I think we could all agree. I think we could all agree that the last few seasons of the world have not necessarily bred the these people that are going excel in the realm of challenges.
It's bred bacteria and some sexual diseases.
Exactly.
I don't know if
that's
it's bred
it.
challenge
It's a petri dish, man. But then, and then so you have Are You the One, where I think it's what they want is hot young people that just want to come on and hook up, and that's fine. But the problem is a lot of the people that they bring on are very one-dimensional. The thing is with the Real World is we went through a very rigorous casting process.
Yeah.
And we're layered. A lot of the people on the Real World, there's a lot of layers to us, and we're complicated individuals, These Are You the One? It's like they're one-trick ponies. It's like we want to get drunk, we want to argue, and we want to fuck, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, now we got to compete. Now we have to deal with playing a game and having to wrap our minds around this mental game. We weren't prepared for this. I mean, Brandon quitting because of his girlfriend. It's like, come on, dude. Oh, I got a girlfriend home. I got to go. I've never seen that before, ever.
I've never seen TJ more upset.
You'd have to. I haven't either. I have not either, man. And it's like the problem with that is you just cost another team that could have been here and could have, who knows, added something, brought something new to the television, made a name for themselves, won a prize at the end, got caught with that, whatever. You took that away from somebody else.
Brandon could have said, like, TJ, I have to leave. I'm going to commit a terrorist attack.
Yeah.
And TJ would be like, well, everybody has their beliefs.
You got to do what you got to do, man.
I'm just quitting the show because I'm quitting. TJ,
I have a girlfriend.
What?
I have a girlfriend at home who I guarantee the second he got home, she was like, you're a pussy. Seriously. Really, dude? This is your opportunity to, like, I mean, he's never going to be back. Ever. I mean, that guy just burned a serious bridge, dude, by doing that.
Not on TJ's show. He won't be back.
No.
Hey, we need more. First of all, get that other show out of there. And if we can't find enough people, enough alumni, then maybe it's time to fold the show. Like the NBA doesn't we don't have enough good players this year. We're gonna grab some players from a league in Bulgaria.
Yeah.
To round out our 30 teams.
Yeah. I mean, it's...
so a couple good things did happen, though.
Okay.
Nani's cousin, I think is worthy. I like having her in the house.
Uh-huh.
She's a wild card.
She is now, which cousin are we talking about? Are we talking about, the Megan Fox lookalike that looks like she put her makeup on with a shotgun? Or are we talking about,
I'm talking about both.
Both of them. Okay.
Yeah.
The other one that you wake up and you're like, I
don't understand the eyelash thing.
Eyelash thing? How about the rest of it? Dude, I've never seen...
What's going on with it?
I don't know, man. It's quite the transformation process. It's like Jim Carrey in The Mask. It's like, it's like, dude, she's a completely different person once she puts that face on.
Has anyone ever won the challenge that wore that much makeup? I'm going to say no.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
At some point. So that was good. I think Vince has been a good addition.
I couldn't agree more. But a lot of people in America disagree, but I think he brought an edginess to the show that he brought, like, that kind of
Yeah, he's good TV.
That meathead mentality that a lot of people want, and that,
Here's one of the things I would do for next year's challenge. Leroy makes it to the second to last episode. It's just in the show. He doesn't have to do any challenge. Leroy's had so much bad luck. We're just making him. We're almost giving him a bye.
Just give him
like LaRusso and Karate Kid 3 when he's just in the finals.
Yep.
You didn't even have to fight anybody.
Uh-huh.
That's what I want with Leroy. Just put him ahead. He's in like the quarterfinals, and that's it. And we all just accept it.
I couldn't agree more, man. You know what the thing is with Leroy is he is just from the comedy aspect of the show. Just from the comedic aspect. You know what? I think you're right. What we should do is Leroy, next time he comes on, we don't want him to hurt himself. We don't want his partner to get hurt. You're going to entertain us in the house while we're here. But when we go and do challenges, you can chill. You chill. We'll go do our challenges. We'll come back. But you got to be funny all the time. And you got to make you got
laugh.
That's your job.
Or make the Leroy role. Like if your partner screws up or gets hurt or
bring a replacement.
Because meltdown, Leroy gets another partner.
Yeah.
Leroy
him getting sent home because of his
partners.
cousin was pretty shitty, dude. That was not good.
So you've won 6. You're getting older. You've had a girlfriend for the last couple, which I don't support at all. I don't think anybody should have girlfriends or wives at home. I don't like that Sarah's married. I think the challenge is a place where mistakes in judgment are such a key part of the process.
They are, but you know what, man? Even if I didn't have a girlfriend, there's no one in that house that I would. It's just the problem is just from a strategic standpoint. That it's
a terrible move.
Ruined.
You learned that the hard way.
Terrible move. It's a terrible move, and it'll just throw a monkey wrench in your entire operation. That's just not something I was ever really into.
Quick break to talk about our old friends at Simply Safe. It's summertime still. the dog days of August, guess what? Burglaries skyrocket over the summer. They wait for you to go on vacation. They wait for you to disappear for long weekends. You have to protect your home and family. Simply Safe has put together a massive security arsenal for you. A special package that has entry sensors, motion sensors, glass break, everything you need to stop criminals from ever touching your home. Every day, 24/7, all year round. If a burglar so much as tries to break in, an ear-shattering siren. Don't delete this, Tate. I want people to know about my speech impediment. An ear-shattering siren will let that burglar know that the police are already on their way. Best of all, Simply Safe's 24/7 monitoring is just $14.99 a month. They'll never lock you into a long-term contract. You get a 60-day money-back guarantee. Try it right now. Get $100 off. Go to simplysafebill.com. It's possibly the best home security deal you'll ever see. Go to simplysafebill.com. And speaking of old friends, Squarespace. I think they were one of the first sponsors we had too. They make it easy to build beautiful websites without breaking a sweat, regardless of skill level, no coding needed. They provide easy-to-use tools, state-of-the-art technology that ensures security and stability. Millions of people and some of the most respected brands in the world, and Joe House. I don't know if he's a respected brand. I don't even know if he's a brand, but he trusts Squarespace. You should too. You even get a free domain if you buy Squarespace for the year. So why wait? You can even design a best-in-class online store with Squarespace's award-winning templates and customizable settings. Start a trial. No credit card required. Squarespace.com. Use the offer code BS to get 10% off your first purchase. Back to the podcast.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people were asking, like on Twitter, I got lit up. I was taking grenades in the trenches last night, and everyone was like, "I wonder what Bill Simmons thinks about what you did," and I'm kind of curious.
I was
too.
saving it because I wanted to talk about it on the podcast. I loved it. I think it's a show.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: if it had been Leroy, I would have been really upset.
Yeah.
If it had been your cousin,
Wouldn't have happened.
I would have been like, "That dude's a scumbag. I
Yeah.
can't believe you did that."
Wouldn't have done
But
it.
you did it to somebody who did it to you. And that I think she was more bothered that it was like turnabout, fair play, whatever that thing is. That's what bothered her, is that you flipped it on her. She had this one little tiny thing over bananas,
Yep.
the greatest challenge competitor of all time. She was the one that figured out how to wham the knife in your back, and then you won it back.
And what's funny is that what you just explained so eloquently is exactly the way that I see the entire situation as well. And people want to draw these differences and comparisons between what happened. But at the end of the day, all right, after what happened between me and her on X's, she set the rules for engagement, right? She's the one that said, you know what? There's friendship and then there's money, and it's a game, right? We're playing a game. And she even said in the past, she goes, you know what? If I didn't put my best interest first, then there's no point in me being here.
She defended it to you this season.
Yeah.
When you guys had dinner the first day. Like,
She said,
the whole
here's
point
what
of
she
this game
said.
is to win.
Yeah, she said, I will not apologize to you. I won't say sorry to you, but I will apologize for putting a price on our friendship. And she said, I wanted the money and I wanted the friendship. I couldn't have them both, so I took the money. And what boggles my mind, is that when Sarah did it to me, it was a game. Get over it, it's a game, right? When I do it, it's not a game, it's reality. So what I don't understand is so this is people's logic on social media. Sometimes a game is a game, but other times a game is reality.
Social media has logic?
No, none, zero. That's why it's like,
that's your
dude,
first mistake.
I'm sitting here reading this stuff last night, and I'm just like, man, these people are just, dude, out there, bro. Like out there. Like, do you? And I get it.
We know what it is. Sarah's very likable. I would argue that she's the most likable female competitor in the history of the show.
She's the antithesis of me, and I get that. And you know what? And this is what I said. People hate what happened on the show, but they don't hate it because of what I did. They hate it because it's me that did it, right? If you were to take that exact same scenario and you were to take me out of the equation and you were just to plug in
Wes.
anonymous Joe Schmo,
Yeah.
this wouldn't even be, we wouldn't be talking about this. It wouldn't have been trending on Twitter last night. It wouldn't have been, this huge diabolical, plot twist, because it's because it's me and it's because it's her. And we are complete polar opposites. And I think I think what it is, and I'm guilty of this too. I mean, because I probably would be mad at me if I was not myself as well. It's like if you've never watched the team compete before, if you just turn on the TV and it's some whatever curling in the Olympics, and they're like, oh, this is the Russian team. They've dominated this for the last 20 years. This is the Canadian team that's lucky to be here. Who are you going to root for? The Canadian team, because you want to root for the underdog. And I think Sarah was the ultimate underdog. And I think that's why everyone just wanted this to happen. And me doing it to her was,
Here's the thing. With Survivor has this and your show has this, where the whole point of the show, everybody goes in knowing it's going to be about alliances.
Yeah.
Whoever does the double cross the best at the right time. Don't trust anyone. This is a game. Don't let personal relationships conflict with what you're trying to do. Get it done. Win the title. Win the money. That's the point. And then anytime somebody gets double crossed, why'd you do that? That's why I got mad that you did it that time.
I know.
Because it's like the whole point of the game is you're waiting for these little moments where you can flip it on somebody and take it from them.
See, and that's another thing is, and I get that, and that is the nature of the game. But like I said before, and as much as people want to say, oh, you play a scummy game, you're a dirtbag, you screw everyone over, I do. It's just not my friends, okay? The one blemish on my record when that actually happened was with Paula. And if you want to really get down to brass tacks, what I did to Paula is basically exactly what Sarah did to me, which was I basically sent Paula...
You did it before Sarah did it to you.
Yeah, I sent Paula onto this other boat. I didn't eliminate her. She just was on a weaker boat, right? She was still in the final. What Sarah did to me was put me in an elimination, all right?
That wasn't great what you did to Paula.
It wasn't, and I totally agree.
I wouldn't call her the most stable personality either.
But if you really think, that wasn't just my, everyone puts it on me. There was three other people in that decision. It was Derek, it was Kenny, and it was Evelyn. The only reason we did that was because it was either me or it was Evelyn. Evelyn was going to take my key. I wasn't going to be on that boat, so we had to make a deal with her. Here I am. I've struggled this entire challenge. I've had my back against the wall. Paula ran around drunk the entire time like an idiot. She got a key given to her. I had to go in and fight for a key. So I just felt like I deserved to be there more than her. With Sarah and with what she did, so I was stuck between a rock and a hard place. There was no easy way out of that. Sarah had an easy option. She had a rookie team that did not deserve to be there, and she threw me in. I was supposed to be her friend instead.
I'm amazed when people show up on these challenges and you're there, and so you've won 5 at this point. I don't care if I'm new, I'm medium, I'm older. My whole goal would be to just get you into the eliminations and try to get you off the show. These people are so stupid. They think you want to be friends with them. Oh, Bananas asked me to take a walk. Oh, great. These people are such idiots.
You know what, though, dude? It's a little more complicated than that. What makes shows like this difficult is because when you're the power team, right? There's 2 of you. Yeah. You have 100% of the vote, which means you have 100% of the responsibility. So being a new team, you win. Dario and Nicole say, right? In theory, let's throw the 2 greatest teams in. That's great in theory. It's different when you actually win and you have to do it. And that's what I said. A lot of people just don't have the stones to make a move like that. Especially when you're sitting there and you're like, yo, if you don't throw me in, now that you have bargaining chips, let's hash out a deal. And a lot of times, that's why the team concept was a lot easier, because there was 8 people voting one person in. That blame could be spread between 8 people, as opposed to the blame all coming back onto you. So if Dario or a new kid was to pull this crazy power move, mind you, it was against Nate and Christina, who was the weakest team there, chances are both of us are coming back, and guess who we're going after? You know, and a lot of people just don't have the intestinal fortitude to go through something like that.
I'm starting to think that the people from Are You the One maybe aren't rocket scientists.
You think?
Yeah. I mean, initially I went into it thinking these are some of the smartest people out there.
What gave it away,
now I'm wondering if maybe I was wrong.
What gave it away, dude?
Maybe they're not.
But going back to the whole wait,
hold on. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So when you do the toast now, which is as we've discussed before, your signature move is the first night toast.
Yeah.
You're just great at it. So good at it that we invited you to, I think it was the last Grantland anniversary party. It was one of them. It was maybe the 5th or 6th party. You did a toast for all of Grantland. It
was awesome. Yeah. I actually spent some time on that one too.
I know you did. Yeah. And So when you do the toast now, you're just throwing the shot over your shoulder. You're not actually drinking it.
Well, this last time,
Do you fake drink on these challenges to pretend like
No, I mean,
try to get everyone else drunk, but you're not drinking?
I still do. Okay. I'll cut up a few times on the challenge, but nowhere near as much as I did before. I mean, usually the first weekend we're there, that first toast, that first night, usually I get pretty rowdy, but that's just because I want to set a good example. You know what I mean?
Kids,
I want to set a good example for the kids. And I want to be like, listen, this is what you guys do. They're like lemmings. It's like, I'm going to jump off this cliff and I want you all to follow me off. And, let's consume as much alcohol as we can. Let's make as many bad decisions as we can. I don't necessarily just view the show as a cast member. I view it as a producer as well. And I know what's going to make great television, which is why this plot twist at the end, I mean, come on, people.
You don't have to defend the plot twist to me anymore.
What I'm saying
on your
is,
side.
What I'm saying, I'm talking to your listeners.
My listeners, if they don't understand it, then they don't deserve to have enjoyed the show.
What I'm saying is this, though, is they put that plot twist in there for a reason, okay? How anticlimactic would that final ending have been if, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna split the money. Like, come on, dude. No, the reason I'm here, the reason why we're talking about this is because they put it out there. I viewed it from not just a monetary standpoint, but also from a producer's perspective. I've been like, dude, imagine putting a plot twist like that and no one taking advantage of it,
Listen, it's very Jordan-esque. I mean, Jordan had the one blemish, which was when he came back from baseball, Orlando beat him. You have your one blemish, the CT knapsack. What was that event called?
A backpack, the Banak Pack.
But you came back from it, much like LeBron in the 2011 finals when LeBron hit rock bottom. It just made him stronger. He wins the next two titles.
That was one of as humiliating of a defeat as that was. It was one of the most motivating things that ever happened to me. And
it was humiliating, but at the same time, it's like if you were running with the Bulls in Pamplona, and a bull just ran you over,
you can't feel bad.
Is that humiliating, or are you just like, wow, I wish I hadn't run into a bull,
or been strapped to a friggin' gorilla?
What human being wins that battle with CT?
And especially because I was doomed from the beginning. I mean, the guy, they literally call the guy. I mean, I'm pretty sure he'd been like locked in a cage in Boston, just doing squats and eating babies, dude, for the last 6 months, and then here I am. I mean, it's so close to the end of the show.
Yeah,
we're all like, dude, in final prep mode. I mean, I'm shredding down as much weight as I possibly can. This guy comes in 230. I'm $175.
Yeah,
it's like, yo, you just strapped a banana to a gorilla. What do you think's gonna happen? You know what I mean? It is what it is, though, and it really did. It fueled me, and it was one of those really motivating experiences.
I think that's more of a CT moment than a bananas moment. That's more like a. Yeah. That's more like I don't understand how I'm part of the same species as this human being.
The guy's a mutant, dude. For sure.
What's he doing now?
He's from what I know, he's doing real estate. He's doing like home remodeling and flipping homes and stuff in Florida.
He's flipping homes?
Yeah.
In Florida?
Yeah.
Give me some other updates on the CTA. What's like Kenny doing?
Kenny's working at he's a coach at a CrossFit gym in New York.
Okay. Evan?
Doing well. Evan's getting married in November.
Okay.
And he has his own marketing company called The Bait Shop, doing really well.
Coral?
I don't know what Coral's doing, man. I don't know.
Who else was from that generation? Because you've somehow spanned 2 generations now.
Yeah, Brad. Brad's
Brad.
Brad's married, married to Tori, still happily married. A couple of kids.
That was probably the worst moment in challenge history for a humiliation standpoint.
What was that?
Drunk Brad just getting
pounded. You want to know something funny? Darrell just called me today out of the blue.
Really?
Out of the blue, man.
Maybe
just called me. I was like, I was worried. I was just like, oh man, do I owe this guy money or something? Like, why is he calling me? And he's like, man, he's like, what's going on, bro? I've been seeing on Twitter all this stuff. He goes, explain to me what happened. And I'm just like, yeah. And I kind of told him. But same with him. He's married. He's got a couple of kids now.
What about Derek?
Derek, you know what? Funny story. Derek is actually he's actually going the opposite. He's getting a divorce. And he's trying to come back, bro.
Oh my God, we're breaking news. We're breaking news.
He's trying to make his triumphant comeback.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen, I want you to look at Derek's Facebook and Twitter, because he's been posting all these old school videos of him just being an animal.
Wow.
Because he basically told me on the phone, he's like, I was like, what happened, dude? He's like, well, tried to take everything from me. And when she tried to take my soul, he's like, I drew the line.
Smart
man. You can't live without a soul.
So Derek
well,
might
Wes
make a
can,
comeback.
but most people can't.
Wow.
But yeah, Derek's trying to make his
Who can
triumphant
we get
comeback.
back on? What other greats can we get on? We got to take the show back from Are You the One?
That
To get Derek back would be great.
That we can get back, or would be great to have back. Because
It'd be
there's a
great
couple,
to have back.
I mean, dude, Landon, The Miz.
Well, The Miz is like...
Yeah, he's on a whole other level now. Yeah, good for him. Good for him.
You were on the same shows with him?
I've never been on a challenge with him.
The Miz was kind of he was like the Dr. J to your MJ.
Yeah.
It was like an earlier era. The challenge wasn't as cool.
Miz is the man, dude. I haven't seen him in a while. He was at my 30th birthday party. Guy's an animal.
Landon was one of the world's greatest athletes.
He was.
Just in general. Just a natural.
No, he's a freak of nature.
Alton came back that one year and he was
just,
like...
He was just a shell of who he used to be.
It was almost like he was an Are You the One cast member.
Yeah.
He's very emotional.
Yeah.
That was weird. Who else do we want to come back? CT's the big one for me.
CT, yeah, dude. I mean, that
guy...
guy...
We can't get him back?
I don't know. I mean, you know what it is? He had a... I think with everything that happened with Diem passing, that Diem and CT were kind of like... Yeah. They were kind of synonymous with each other and with the challenge. And, I think that's what he always thinks about when he thinks of a challenge. I mean, if I spent that much time with a girl in that environment, dude, it would be tough to go back to that and not think about them. And he even said before, he goes, I don't think Dee would approve of me sleeping in a bunk bed, And he caught a lot of flack after she passed, just from people that were just spreading stories that just weren't true about his intentions and all that stuff. Oh. So I think he just had to step. He kind of has taken a step back from everything, and I think he kind of wanted to, I guess let the dust settle and really kind of figure his thing out before he, made his triumphant return if he's going to.
We need him back.
I agree.
Here's my challenge foundation, and you can just basically put anyone around it, but it's great. I think you and your cousin, I like having both of you on. Leroy.
MTV, are you listening to this? This is Nostradamus you're listening to right here.
Leroy, CT.
Yep.
I like Nani and her cousin. Nani to me is essential.
Yeah.
She's the best because it doesn't matter if it's exes, rivals, whatever. There's 8 different choices for her. It could go any way, but she has a history with everyone on the show somehow.
Yeah.
So you have that. I think Camilla is
television
she's replaced
gold.
CT.
Yeah.
CT was the original indestructible force, and now it's Camilla.
You know what they love? And I love as well. And this is why Paula was always such a great cast member.
Another great one.
They love people who, and you know who, and I'm just gonna throw this out there. Who I think is gonna be, who's like the second coming of Paula and Camilla is Ashley. Smashley. The reason that they love characters like that is because these are girls.
Congratulations, Ashley.
These are girls who will come on and they will make every bad decision in the book and have meltdowns and get drunk and sleep with God only knows who. And then after they watch themselves do it on TV, they're okay and they'll come back and do it all over again.
Yeah, but the bad decision, just moving forward.
Listen, the best people to cast are people who have no problem making bad decisions and then repeating those bad decisions season after season. They don't listen, do not learn from your mistakes. Continue being that person and making great television.
I feel like Nani's like half learned from her mistakes.
Nani's come a long way.
Yeah, she's
come a long way
become a veteran.
Since Free Agents. Yeah.
Camilla. In the reunion show, there was an unbelievable moment when they're trying to figure out if Camilla hooked up with Vince at 4 a.m. in a bathroom or not. Yeah. And her defense was, no. While he was showering, I was taking a shit. It's like, that is the worst thing I've ever heard. I'd rather you said you just hooked up with him.
It's true, though, man. Listen, and here's why. People are always like, oh, man, so-and-so is so hot. Have you ever hooked up or would you? I'm like, do you understand that it's like when you see these girls, it's like when they're in interviews all decked out and we're going out to the club, we're competing, they look amazing. We see them when they just woke up in the morning, half the girls haven't put their weaves in, Nicole's face is still, on the floor. Camilla, you know what I mean? Like Camilla's in the room taking a shit. It's like, dude, you get over that real quick. You know what I mean?
Almost like family.
Yeah, that whole, and that's
nobody's
why
trying to impress anyone.
No, not after a while, nobody gives a shit. And that's why it's like, but I really do feel like the guys kind of take a lot more, pride in the way that they looked in the girls. The guys are training, we're working out, we like want to look good on camera. Most of these girls, they just go and they just give up. They're just like, hey man, I'm here. I'm not going to work out. I'm going to lay around in bed all day, drink beer, eat food.
So did Vince and Camilla hook up?
No, not even
close.
Are we
sure?
1,000%. There's no way.
Oh, another one is essential for the core. 2 more, actually. I love Zach.
Yeah. Zach makes great television.
Zach makes great television. There's never been a more self-absorbed, happier about himself guy that's ever been on the show.
What I love about having Zach on the challenges is it takes a lot of the heat off me.
Yeah.
It's almost like this is why I think Donald Trump is very happy probably right now about what happened last night, is because I'm taking all the flack right now. All the grenades this guy's been taking on social media for the last week, it's all deflected, man. So Donald, if you're listening, you're welcome, my friend. But
I don't think God, I wish that was true.
But Zach
Trump, if he had seen it, he'd be like, I got to do 3 dumb things right now.
Right now, this guy's stealing my spotlight.
Yeah, come on.
But no, but that's why Zach's always good for some good old fashioned deflection. You know what I mean?
I like Zach's old girlfriend who he dumped while she was on the show, Jenna.
Yeah, Jenna's amazing.
She's good. I love the cousin that she had last year who kind of looked like Martin Short. Who,
she looked like Jeffrey Giraffe from Toys R Us. Listen.
But she was like, you just want enough money to buy a bakery. Or like she held the bakery. What was the bakery insult? No, my dad owns a bakery.
You think you're cool because you work at a bakery. That's what it was.
Yeah,
that was the line. Cool. You think you're all that because you work at a bakery.
It was great. That was one of my favorite moments in a while.
They're like, the thing about Jenna, I'm convinced Jenna's a CIA agent, man. I really am, because
she's just quiet and taking everything in.
I've never seen anything like it, bro. Have you ever seen anyone? The girl's made it to all 3 finals she's ever been to.
True.
Right? Besides with her cousin, has never stirred the pot with any girl in the house ever. Never gotten into a competition, which is impossible.
Yeah.
And every season, even though she's been there 3 times, one of the most dominant girls in the house, no one ever wants to throw her in or has anything negative to say about her.
Who was the girl who was an awesome athlete?
Emily Schramm. Yeah,
her and Evelyn, I think, were the best athletes in the history of the show. Oh, and Laurel.
What was her name? Jody back in the day was a monster. You remember Jody? She was on my first challenge. Yeah.
Laurel had a mean edge to her that I didn't like. Dude, I don't like mean. I like ball busting and sarcastic, and I don't like when it gets like vicious.
Yeah. Well, that's some people. I mean, just have that. Naya was like that. Naya's just got that where she will literally. I mean, she'll figure out exactly what it is about you that is your weakest point, and she'll carve you up, man. I mean, that girl's got no remorse, and you know what? She's one of those girls when she's on your side, you love it. But she's not someone you want to be on the business end of that, you know.
So no hooking up really on this season.
I mean, besides the ones that everyone saw, I mean, it was.
I would have thought the Are You the Ones were like rabbits, like just put them in a cage and they're pumping each other.
They kind of were, dude. I mean, that Amanda chick came into the house, the freckled motherfucker, as Camilla called her. She
great.
came in like a friggin' bat out of hell, and I think hooked up with a couple dudes. Tony hooked up with fill in the blank.
Oh, Tony's another essential for me.
Tony's the man.
Although he could bring back the uncomfortable, you're a little too close to that woman as you're yelling at her part of Tony's game.
That was a low point for Tony.
Maybe bring that back.
The thing is with Tony,
scale that back a notch.
Here's the deal with Tony that everyone needs to understand. Tony is like a Labrador puppy dog.
It's so funny. I was going to make a dog comparison you did.
No, he really is. That's just grown up too fast. And has run around the house and has no control of his body and is just knocking shit over and peeing all over the place, but doesn't realize he's doing it. Like Tony the guy doesn't have a mean bone in his body, all right? And he really is like one of like the coolest, funniest dudes ever.
Oh, I like the Tony defense. I wasn't expecting it.
Doesn't give a shit. I mean, he does not. I mean, it's no secret. The guy's got a baby and he's got another baby on the way, and he can't wait to come on the next challenge. I'm like, you know what? Most guys have kids and they're like, I'm done. He's like, I can't wait to keep going. Bananas, I can't wait.
Tony's going to have more kids, I think.
I can't wait for you to pass the torch with me. Yeah.
It's going to be.
But he's the man, dude. He was another one that just, between him and Leroy, I mean, the show lost
a lot of
entertainment when those two left. And then that's what sucked. Then it was like, the burden of keeping the show, funny and entertaining all fell on my shoulders. And that's a tall order,
My dog analogy for Tony was going to be, when there's blonde girls in the house no matter, even if he's hooked up with a blonde girl the night before, it's the same thing as like if one of my dogs doesn't eat and the other dog just has to go by the bowl and eat it. Just like, oh, there's food. I'm eating. I just ate. I don't care. It's a natural instinct to eat.
Yeah.
That's what Tony's like with
chicks,
blonde females.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what they should really do in next season is just everybody should be blonde.
Yeah.
Just have Tony come in and it's like, oh, Tony, yeah, the boys side, there's no beds left. You're going to have to be on the girls' side.
One night we convinced him, he got so black, he got really drunk one night, and we convinced him that he cuddled with Wes. He actually believed us. We're like, dude, you fell asleep, man, in bed with Wes, and you guys like you spooned the entire night.
So he gets blackout drunk.
That guy can party, man. Let's put it that way. I mean, he's a Southern boy, man. I mean, he's one of those Southern boys that just it's impressive. The amount of alcohol that guy can consume is impressive.
All right, so Bill Russell won 11 titles.
Yeah.
MJ won 6. Kobe won 5.
Yeah.
I think Gretzky won 5. No, Gretzky won 4. Messier won 5. Brady's won 4. I think Robert Horry's won 8.
Wow.
If you combine all the teams he's been on, it's something like it's somebody's won 8. It might be him.
How many Shaq won? 4?
Shaq had 3.
3.
In baseball, some of the old school guys like the Yankees
Jeter.
and things like that, 7 would be pretty good.
7.
7, it's basically Bill Russell then you.
Here's the deal, man. As much as I would love to win another challenge.
Are you announcing retirement right now?
No. As much as I would love as I would love to win another challenge. As if it wasn't difficult enough with you know what the saying goes, the higher up on the ladder you get, the bigger the target on your ass gets. I thought I was at the top of the ladder before this challenge.
Yeah.
Where I'm at now, if the cast doesn't eliminate me, production will hire a sharpshooter to shoot me with a trank dart or something.
Or just be
at
all
some
puzzle
point.
Challenges.
All puzzles. Or they'll like
make a puzzle time.
Or dude, they're gonna like I don't know, put friggin' Visine in my water bottle and I'm gonna be shitting myself on the final or something like that, dude. Put a bear trap in my bag. Like,
how could somebody be so smart and so bad at puzzles? Maybe you should go to like puzzle camp.
Because you know what? It's the book smart and street smart are two completely different things. And I've always been very street smart.
You can't learn how to do puzzles?
You can, but it's.
Do you want to go to my summer camp that
I'd
my
love
son
to.
goes
Can
to?
I?
You can do puzzles.
Can me and
with
your
him?
son go and just do puzzles?
He would love you.
He
loves bananas.
Listen, I take the physical, that training, but it's just like the puzzle thing. It's just puzzles is never. My brain just doesn't work that way.
It's funny how Sarah was she's like a freaking
savant.
She's like a Rhodes Scholar
It's
of puzzles.
insane. It's insane, dude.
She finishes hers, comes over and does yours. It's only 1 point. If
Make
she did
sure-
your puzzle, you should
Make
have 2
sure
points.
everyone knows about it.
Yeah,
make sure
that's true.
Make sure she reminds me, hey, I've finished mine. Now I'm helping on yours. Thanks, Sarah, because I didn't already realize that.
She's a Hall of Fame female challenge competitor for me, though.
Is she?
Yeah, I think she's been really steady the whole time.
Let me ask.
She's always in the mix.
Here's my only qualm with that is until Sarah screwed me over. All right, or whatever you want to call it in X's. Before that move, Sarah was always the little engine that could. You know what I mean? The lovable loser. It was like, oh, we're really pulling for her. She's had such bad luck. We really want her to win. I think a lot of people in America can identify with her as probably the people who've like. She said when she was younger, she's like, I got picked on for being nerdy, and I was always, I was never really athletic. I did summer camps. I was always a nerdy girl. Once she screwed me over, once that happened, like you were just saying, she finally, I think that then, it just gave her this, where she had like arrived. You know what I mean?
It gave her some mojo.
It gave her some mojo, but not just her. All of America now basically was like, you screwed over Bananas. That makes you the best player to ever play the game, basically.
I think that's part of her Hall of Fame case.
And if that's the case you want to make, that she screwing me over is one of the justifications for doing it, then
she got the better than Michael Jordan in the challenge.
She got me. No, she definitely got me. But I mean, then what happened on this one? They say 2 wrongs don't make a right, but 2 wrongs definitely made us even.
She's one of the 5 best female competitors we've had, I think.
Like puzzle wise, I will
whole
agree.
Thing. Just whole thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, hey.
Strategy.
Yeah.
She's always around. Like, she doesn't break down in the challenges, which is another
She
big
doesn't,
thing.
and I think one of the reasons why, and there's very few girls, think about Sarah, and I think one of the reasons that she's such a good competitor is she's very even-keeled, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the girls in the house are, dude, they're like the Nanis and the Camillas and a lot of these Ashleys. They're like a roller coaster, bro. One day they're up, one day they're down. They're always crying. It's like, you know, you try and strategize with them or have like a strategic moment, and it's like 5 minutes later, it's totally out the window. If you look at the girls who made it to the final this time around, with the exception of Cheyenne because she got lucky, but Nicole, Jenna, and Sarah, the one thing that the one trait that the three of them share is they're all very even-keeled. They're not super emotional.
FYI, you just described how people get to the final three in The Bachelor.
Yeah.
The Bachelor always picks the one that eventually you're going to gravitate toward the easier people.
Yeah.
Especially in The Bachelor. Like, oh, she's cute and she's easy. I'm going to bring her to the final three. I want her to bring her to beat my parent.
Yeah.
The challenge is kind of the same way. Nobody's like, I want to be around this person for 8 weeks. This freaking roller coaster ride.
No. But also
Although
it's like
Camila is so funny that
but
maybe...
those aren't people that but the thing is, as far as an alliance is concerned, those aren't people you want to have in your alliance because
you
you're
trust
just
them.
worried. You're just like, what this, you know, we're going to have this conversation now, we'll be on the same page, but 10 minutes from now when somebody else gets in your ear, or God forbid, you know, you hit your menstruation cycle, dude, all bets are off. You know what I mean?
See, can you tell me about Wes's business acumen? What do we know about what Wes does for a living? Then we got to go.
Well, first of all, I mean, I'm surprised. You know, I called him today, but I wasn't able to get an appointment with him. You know, I wasn't able to set a meeting up. Wes and his business acumen, I like to. The guy claims he's got 70 businesses or whatever.
It seems high.
It's almost
it
like
seems
a guy.
like a lot of businesses.
It's almost like a guy that if you were to go out and invest in 100 penny stocks and you just pray that one of them one day just turns into like a, you know,
Yeah.
just isn't worth 10 cents tomorrow. I mean, he just made you rich. That's what he does with his you know, business incubators. He's got 70 businesses. All of them aren't worth anything, and he's just hoping that at some point one of them's gonna be
So he just
successful.
tells people he has 70 businesses, but
It doesn't explain to them what they are. I think
Right.
a lot of people think it's like, oh, businesses like
how many
you know,
hours a day do you think Wes works?
Oh God, I don't know. What are we talking? I mean, it's a good question. I mean, all the cars he's got, his Porsche and his monster truck. You know, he doesn't have a whole lot of time to probably
Are we
work.
positive he has those cars?
No, never seen him. Wes suffers from what they call delusions of grandeur. All right,
Yeah.
that guy lives in an alternate reality. Right? There's reality that the rest of us live in, and then there's Wes's world, where the ginger kids hang
He's
out
had
at.
some very good-looking girlfriends, though.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Johanna was one of the best-looking girls ever in the challenge.
It all works out until, you know, the girls get electricity in their house and they turn the lights on and they see who they're sleeping with, and it's it all just takes a horrible left turn from there.
How many times did you dip into the challenge family love well?
Whew.
Camila?
On camera?
Either.
I mean, dude, yeah. Camilla, Nani, Casey.
Oh, Casey.
Yeah. That was
Did you
that
date
was my
somebody on
first-
your Real World season? You did, right, on Key West?
No. None of the cast members.
No?
No.
Who was the...
Svetlana. That's what everyone remembers.
Loves Svetlana.
Everyone loves Svetlana. The problem was, dude, you know what?
She was overqualified for the show.
She was, but she at the time, had she been like 2 or 3 years older,
Yeah.
she was 17, dude. I was 21, but I saw her as a child when we were on the season. Like she was raised in like this, you know, Ukrainian bubble. Like her parents never let
Yeah.
her. She came into the house and it was like, guys, Svetlana, you're hot, but just don't talk.
Yeah,
You know
settle
what I mean?
down.
Just stop, because every time you talk, I feel like I'm hanging out with an elementary school kid. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? She's like an artist
Which
in
one was
Venice now.
Casey?
Casey was on the first Fresh Meat. She was Wes's partner on the first Fresh Meat.
Yeah.
Little Casey.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, little blonde.
So
yeah.
which one is the thorn in your girlfriend's side when you watch the show that she gets?
Dude,
all of them? Or?
all of them. Yeah, for
She
sure.
didn't like when you were on the remote island Nani probably for a few days.
I mean, but the thing about that was, I mean, there was production there the entire time, so it was almost like, you know, it wasn't what they tried to make it out like. Like it was like, oh, we're on like, you know, this vacation island where it's just the two of us. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, right. We've got a babysitter. We've got camera. You know, it wasn't what they played it up to be.
All right, so where does this go? Are you doing another challenge? Are you spinning off into your own show?
I mean, obviously, here's the thing.
Your
I feel
dream
like,
is to have your own show.
I've put in more than enough time, and I feel like I've done more than enough on these shows to where now, the way that I see it is, I feel like if I continue doing challenges, I'm doing lateral moves from here on out. You know what I mean?
This is why Jordan ended up playing baseball and cutting
I feel
his
like,
finger on a cigar holder and all the stuff that happened.
I feel like at this point, it's like I've done all that I can do on the challenges. I've accomplished what I've wanted to accomplish. There's no way I'm ever going to top what happened on this season. Right? I mean, there's absolutely no way, unless, I mean, who knows? They
So
could
it
come
was
up
like
with something.
Jordan shot in Utah. It was very similar.
So-
It's how do you script anything better? You can't.
Plus, it's like for me to think that I'm gonna go on one of these shows and have a fair shake, you know, with you know the way it's. I wouldn't be surprised if every cast member that's gotten called for this next challenge isn't already on a group text being like, "All right, we're in an alliance and Bananas is on the other side." You know what I mean? Like that's kind of
Bananas versus the world.
Yeah, that's what it'll be. Well, that's very similar to one of the to a show idea that we have. So,
Why can't they have a challenge in Los Angeles?
cost of labor, cost of production.
Is it more expensive here than to do it? Oh,
10
interesting.
times more. Did you know
I
what
would
you
have
know
thought
what
it'd be
la-
easier to do it here.
You know what labor costs in Thailand or in Mexico? I mean, dude, no.
Yeah.
Plus, it's like, you know, they did one in
See, that just should be part of Trump's campaign. When I'm president,
the challenge
they're
will
gonna
come
do the
back to
challenge in
America. And the first part of the challenge, they got to jump over this wall I'm going to build.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to do it in Los Angeles. Wow. All right. That was my first question. Second question was, how many years left do you have
For what?
for just physically for doing this?
I mean, buddy, this may sound weird, but it's like everyone gives me, they're like, oh, come on, man, you're 45, which I'm not, and you should be retired. Why are you still doing this in 401k? I feel physically, I'm in a better place now than I was when I was in my 20s. And I think a lot of it has to do with, I mean, I just don't party. I don't party a lot.
Smart.
I have a very, very, very insanely clean diet, which I owe a lot to my girlfriend because she has got me on the whole free range, organic, you know, hippy dippy, crunchy granola kick, and it makes a difference. It really does.
The cow
And just the
tongue
way
helps.
I train, and just the way I train, and just the way I take care of my body, and just everything. It's like I'll go on these shows. There's kids that are, you know, in their early 20s, and I'm like, dude, I'll run circles around you right now, you know. So physically, I mean, I got a lot left in the tank. My issue is where I'm at, you know, mentally. My mental, you know, where I'm at as far as like the mental part of the game, and just where I want to be, you know. And I love the challenge, dude. I really do, and it's been such an amazing part of my life. I spent a decade doing challenges and being on MTV,
That's
and I've been
amazing.
to every continent you can imagine, and I've done every crazy thing you can imagine. And my thing is like, you know, I love the competition, I love the challenge, but I really do feel like at some point I've got to, you know, go look for greener pastures and hopefully take what I've done on television and, you know, the fan base that I've built up and the notoriety I've built up and parlay that into something else.
This was my last question. I have a new last question. So many people on this show are willing to really just shamelessly disgrace themselves in all these different ways. Not you,
Yeah.
but how have we not had a challenge sex tape yet?
With challenge, what there have been.
Like, how have two of these people have been like, instead of finishing third place and making 25 grand, let's just make a sex tape.
I mean, who would watch it? You don't need to
I
watch
don't
it. You
know.
can watch it on the show.
Listen,
Dunbar did that. He
I'm
did
not
Playboy
saying-
TV. He basically did. He did porn. Dunbar legitimately did porn. Look it up. It's called Foursome.
I'm not saying it's a good decision.
Yeah.
I'm saying this is the place where people make mostly terrible, bad decisions.
Yeah.
I can't believe nobody's stumbled into the "Are you the one?" sex tape. Hey, I got so and so. No, we need one more.
Let's be real though. Who's gonna watch that? You know
I
what
don't
mean?
know. It's a bad decision.
It is. That would be a terrible decision. But I mean, yeah. Well, how has it not happened? I don't know. We should see if we can get the ball rolling.
When is
on
the
that
next
one.
season?
We don't know yet.
What do you mean you don't know yet?
We don't know. I mean, it's
Get
we don't
your
know.
shit together, MTV.
Well, I mean, there's whispers that it's going to be this fall. Filming is going to start this fall, but I mean,
so you
nothing's.
know. They're just not telling you.
Yeah,
You're just not allowed to say anything.
nothing's set in stone yet. I mean, there's you know, availability calls haven't even gone out yet. So, you know, at least this time getting a little more time to recover mentally before things really start getting going.
Well, thanks to Stamps.com. Stop relying on the post office. Just buy and print official U.S. postage using your own computer and printer. Sign up for Stamps.com right now. Use promo code BS for a 4-week trial plus a $110 bonus offer. Includes postage and a digital scale. Click on the microphone at the top of their homepage. Type in BS. Stamps.com. Thanks to Simply Safe. Remember, burglaries skyrocket over the summer. Simply Safe created a phenomenal security package with entry sensors, motion sensors, and glass break. Everything else you need to stop burglars from getting into your home. Get $100 off that package by going to simplysafebill.com. Don't forget to check out theringer.com. Don't forget about our other 7 podcast feeds on the Ringer Podcast Network, including Channel 33. I think they're going to break down the challenge, too. It really deserves 2 podcasts.
I agree.
Don't forget about my HBO show, Any Given Wednesday, 10 p.m. Wednesdays, HBO, and our new Splash page on HBO Now and HBO Go that includes every episode and every bonus clip we've done. And don't forget to go on YouTube and watch Johnny Bananas and his 6 challenge titles. Unbelievable. 6 challenge titles.
I know. It is. I honestly didn't think.
What was the best one?
Rivals 1.
Was that that was your first title?
No. My first.
No, what was of your 6? What's your favorite?
The Rivals.
So what was
Argentina.
that in the order?
That was
That was like your third one?
Let's see. So my first one was The Island, then it was The Ruins.
I like The Ruins.
The Ruins was fun.
That was a good gimmick.
Yeah, and then it was Rivals was my third. It was the first time we were in pairs. We weren't in teams. The game was difficult. The elimination against CT, me, Tyler, CT, and Adam, was one of the most vicious eliminations I've ever had. The T-bone where we had to run full speed.
Oh, blind. I love that,
dude. One of the hands down one of the scariest moments of my life, dude. I'm not even kidding you.
Jump from buildings.
No. Okay, jump from a building. I'm on a harness. I'm not gonna get hurt. I'm running blind, full speed into CT coming the opposite. You know what I mean? It's
Jesus.
Blind. It's not even something you can prepare for, you know? But making it to that final, and then that final, which is the hardest final they've ever done in challenge history, 23 straight miles, 14,000-foot summit. I mean, the amount of
14. That was too much.
I couldn't do that today. I'm telling you right now, if I did that final again, I couldn't, because when I did that when I was 25, 26. And I couldn't walk for a week. I had stress fractures in both feet. I had a strained MCL. I mean, that was the most brutal challenge we've ever done, hands down. There's never been anything even close to that.
And I never have gotten my proper amount of credit for coming up with the X's format, which I did come up with on my podcast.
You know what? You know what else?
Me and Jacoby came up with that.
You want to know what else you came up with that actually for a while I was getting people after the podcast we did last time about people buying or paying for me to do toasts for them. I can't tell you how many requests I got from people.
Oh, really?
For their weddings. They wanted to live stream into their weddings. I just didn't know how to set it up. They were like, yeah, man, I'll pay you.
That's a whole toast business.
It really is. Dude, they want me to do them. They want fraternities were hitting me up. Guys at bachelor parties, they wanted to like webcast me into their wedding and like have me do a toast. And you came up with that, man. That was amazing.
Now I need to come up with a third idea.
No, let's just capitalize on that one.
Let's hope it's not the Are You the One sex tape. I don't want credit for that idea if it happens.
Let's do it, man.
Johnny Bananas, congratulations.
Real quick, Stamps.com. It's funny that was one of your ads. That's who I use to ship out all of my merchandise, dude.
Oh, look at that.
I'm not kidding you. Before I went to the shipping place to do it, Stamps. It literally is the best way to do it. You got like a thermal label printer. I type it in. Bam, it pops out, put my stuff, and it's there,
You're
dude.
the best.
It is. You can set up an order on USPS.com. The mail lady shows up at the front door. Jackie, she's amazing. So, yeah, that's people. Do it.
And follow you on Twitter at MTV Bananas?
Twitter is MTV Bananas.
Okay.
Instagram is Real Johnny Bananas. And I just started. I'm a new member of the Snapchat world, and that is Your Boy Bananas. I actually did a Snapchat before I got here with that. You're on a big old building over here. You're Any Given Wednesdays.
Yeah.
And I was eating a banana with you in the background. I posted that. So if you guys want to see it, check it out. Your Boy Bananas.
Bananas, congratulations. We'll see you after your 7th title.
Thanks, man.
Anytime y'all want